Hi friends, today we are going to talk about service discovery pattern. So this is more of an architectural pattern where instead of having the conventional flow of service like the traffic is landing on in conventional services, traffic lands on the load balancer, and load balancer is sending the traffic to the backend instances. For example, this is I1 and I2, and it is load balancer's responsibility to do the health checks on the instances behind it. And if these instances go unhealthy, then the instances are removed from the traffic, and when they come back to normal, then the traffic again starts flowing to the healthy instances. So this is the general case in which we have an extra layer. Load balancer is an extra hop that we have, and it has extra cost also. So this is an extra hop or extra portion through which our traffic or the API has to travel, and it has extra cost as well. Now another pattern for sending traffic to our service is via service discovery. In service discovery pattern, what happens is we have a service discovery service. So its name is a bit tricky, but it is just a service which helps find the instances for a particular service. So for example, let's say we have a login service. This is a login service. And as you can guess, it provides API which powers the login and logout functionality. So as soon as any instance in this service comes up, I1, it is going to register itself in the service discovery system, and service discovery is going to keep a track record of all the instances. For example, for the login service, right? This is just an explanatory illustration of how service discovery work. The internals may differ, but the type of behavior remains the same. For example, let's say for login service, we have I1. Okay, and so if there's any another service which wants to call the login API, so this is, let's say, this is service X, service X, and it wants to call login service for login API. So what it does is it interacts with the service discovery system, and it queries, give me the IPs for, or give me the instances where traffic for login API should be sent, or give me instances for login service. So this service discovery system is going to send it I1, and then it is service X's responsibility to send that traffic to I1. Okay. And let's say there is another scenario in which, due to extra load on the instance I1, another instance I2 is launched. So this happens through auto scaling. So if there was higher load on instance I1, then we can have auto scaling group configured, which is just going to add another instance I2. And when I2 comes up or is getting started, it is going to register itself in the service discovery system, and then service discovery system is going to keep track of I2 also. So next time when it is refreshing the list of IP addresses or the addresses to which service X should send the login traffic to, it is going to return I1 and I2, and then it is the calling service's responsibility to load balance the traffic between these two instances. So in this case, we don't have an extra hop in the form of load balancer. We are just querying the service discovery system, and it is giving us the API. It is giving the API for a particular service, and then we are calling that service directly. But like in load balancer scenario, here the service discovery system is also doing health checks on the application instances or the service instances. So when I2 is getting registered in the service discovery, it is also telling the health check URL to which service discovery should periodically hit to get to know its state. So for example, there is some system problem in I2, or if I2 crashes, then the health check URL that was called from the service discovery system fails, and when service discovery system is not able to contact I2 for a particular amount of time, what it is going to do is it is going to remove this I2 from the list, and when the login API or when the service X refreshes its list for the IPs, then it is going to get only I1, and then it knows that it should send traffic to I1 only. So this is how service discovery works, and the advantages of this system is, first of all, it is more efficient, as we have reduced an extra hop or piece of hardware or software through which our traffic should flow. Another is it is more cost efficient, because we don't have to pay an extra cost for load balancer for each service, though there's an extra cost for service discovery system and its components, but that can be distributed across all the services that are using it. So that can reduce the overall cost of your architecture. And but there are some drawbacks for this system also. First drawback of this system is, here the responsibility for load balancing among the application or service instances depends on the calling service. So if the calling service has some malformed portion in it, then it is going to give uneven load on the service instances. So it is less stable sometimes if code is buggy. And what else? There can be another scenario in which, if the service X is not refreshing the IPs regularly from the service discovery system, then it can still have tail IPs from its previous request. So even if I2 was down and service discovery got to know the state of instance I2, it can still send the traffic to I2, which will lead to errors, increased errors on service X. But this can be handled if the code is written properly and all the edge cases are written properly. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you and have a nice day.